I knew the GTR would eventually return, but according to the VP of Nissan, it's returning within the next 3 to 5 years, and as a hybrid. We knew this was coming, but will this change the nature of the GTR forever? Hey everyone, welcome to episode 17 of the Radar Report. I'm your host Travis, bringing you the latest in Enthusiast news. We have a lot to talk about here, so let's get started. During the 2025 New York Auto Show, the VP of Nissan, Ponz Pandikuthira, gave us some factual information about the next generation GTR. But honestly, it's everything I expected it to be. The R35 GTR was around for a very long time, and it almost seemed like it was the only car upholding the Nissan brand name. No. It was the only car upholding the Nissan brand name. I'm pretty sure Nissan felt the same way, hence why it stuck around for so long, only receiving minor revisions. You can only improve on a near-perfect platform, but so much. So when Nissan finally announced the end of the platform, it left many of us wondering when and how they'll be able to outdo this legendary beast. The R35 has become my all-time favorite GTR in the time frame of me owning it, beating out my previous favorite, the R32 Skyline GTR. Driving on the right-hand side of a vehicle felt incredibly natural for me, and that car was just a blast to drive. I really wasn't expecting the R35 to top that feeling, but I couldn't justify paying $50,000 plus for a clean R32 in today's market, especially when I was able to buy my first R32 GTR during my time in Canada for under $5,000 in 2014. Man, how I miss those times and car prices. These legendary Skyline machines are, in my opinion, extremely overpriced. Therefore, I opted to spend a little more money and pick up an R35 instead when it came time to get back into a GTR. And I do not regret my decision. The R35 brought everything you'd ever want in a street monster. Gobs of power straight from the factory, more attention than I like, and making me feel like a genius behind the wheel. It was a spectacle every time I took it out for a drive, and that feeling never faded, even 3+ years into ownership. Oh, and by the way, anyone who tells you an R35 GTR is slow from factory, you should avoid taking advice from them about cars. Anything over 400 wheel horsepower for the street will get you into trouble, real quick. It wasn't just the power though, but the way the GTR puts it down is a bit mind-boggling. Even cars that I know are faster than it felt slower just because of the power delivery. It truly is an experience, but here comes the issue. How exactly is Nissan going to top that? I'll tell you one thing, it won't be through EV, that's for sure. Nissan also agrees with this sentiment. Godzilla won't be electric, but it will be a hybrid. Yes, they did toy around with the idea of making the next-gen GTR an EV with that joke of a concept, but it's amazing how quickly direction can change. So what exactly sparked this change? Nissan is still very focused on making EVs for their lineup, but what made them change their mind on their flagship? To put it simply, the technology just isn't there for an EV to be able to put down the performance that the next-gen GTR will demand. Now hold on, before you electric car lovers get your pitchforks, let's break it down. Nissan has already tested this. They built some prototypes for testing, but ran into an issue. They would complete one lap around the Nürburgring just to have to pit to recharge the car. Like, what is that? EVs are still very dependent on power to charge ratio. The more power you have, the quicker the charge dies. They believe even solid state batteries, the newest technology being developed for EVs, won't be enough to keep up with the kind of performance the GTR demands. The GTR needs to be able to monster around the track numerous times and then casually cruise home. It's a car that can do everything. EVs are far from that. They are also still focused on their main target, the Porsche 911 Turbo, which has since left them in the dust. So no, EV won't be the direction for the next-gen GTR, which makes me very happy. Okay, so we have confirmation that the next-gen GTR is a hybrid, but are we talking plug-in hybrid or integrated? Well, they aren't for sure yet. There's arguments for both applications. A plug-in hybrid would work well for the streets. Being able to drive around town in full EV mode will actually be quite useful. For example, running your fully built R36 GTR out of your neighborhood in full EV mode will help save your relationship with your neighbors. In all reality though, integrated hybrid would make the most sense, mainly when you factor in track use. With a plug-in, you can muster out 2 to 3 laps before the hybrid system starts running out of juice and you start losing power. On top of that, a plug-in system means a lot of extra weight in the car as they generally tend to have larger battery packs. Even though they fully plan on having solid-state batteries in the next GTR, they are still working out the details. If it was my choice, I would go with the integrated hybrid system. Now, we know it'll be a hybrid system, which means it will retain a gas engine. But what engine are we talking about here? Well, Nissan is no sellout. The VR38 has become so iconic, they plan on definitely keeping the basic configuration for the next vehicle. Twin-turbo V6 that will push a minimum of 600 horsepower out the gate. They hinted that it might derive from the turbo V6 that comes in the new 2025 Armada, as that engine has been designed to handle emissions all the way to 2032. That engine is only a 3.5 liter and produces 425 horsepower in its current form. I can see them modifying it to put out more horsepower than the VR38 from factory while still maintaining the 3.5 liter aspect. Adding a hybrid system to the mix, and we might just see mid to high 600 horsepower from the base version GTR. A very nice number to tango with the Porsche 911 Turbo S. So, what timeframes are we looking at here? 3 to 5 years, which was a big shock to me. This timeline aligns with Nissan's plan for solid-state battery production, which is planned for 2028. The real question is, will the next-gen GTR break the mold again? Almost every model of the previous GTR has been monumental in automotive history. From the debut of the Hakosuka to the absolute domination of the R32 and then the latest yardstick that was the R35, every GTR from beginning to end has been at the top of the world upon release. They have made no excuses and forced their way into the spotlight, deservingly so. For some reason though, I fear the R36 will fail to meet that expectation. Why so? Mainly because the automotive world is changing so rapidly. Cars are becoming unreasonably fast from factory. Porsches running 10 seconds flat off the showroom floor, Corvettes coming with 1,000 plus horsepower with a warranty, and BMWs making 800 horsepower with a downpipe and a tune? It's madness! Nissan has always pushed the limits with every GTR they have released, but Nissan is in a state of uncertainty. We have no clue how the change of leadership will steer the future of the company. And although they sound to have a promising layout for the future, the GTR is not something that can easily be created. They need a proper leader to head the development, to capture the essence of what makes a GTR a GTR. They have the sugar, spice, and everything nice. But will they be able to obtain the Chemical X? Only time will tell. Although I'm very optimistic for the future, I can't shake the feeling that the next-gen GTR will fly high, only to miss the mark. I hope I'm wrong though, and Nissan can truly pull this off. What do you guys think? Leave your comment in the section below and let's talk about it. That's all today for the Rated Report. Be sure to check out last week's video and subscribe to stay updated for the latest Enthusiast news. Be sure to check out my store, ratedgtr.store, located in the description below, and sign up for the upcoming giveaway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.